Nick Dutch. This is a video in reply to comments I made on your video, Alien Experiences Are Real, which I wrote.
Okay, let's hear it.
Sorry, in caps lock.
Yeah, that's obviously a very good way of expressing yourself on the internet.
What about mass hysteria or sleep paralysis as an excuse for aliens?
Yeah, that is what you said.
And you wrote,
And this is interesting.
something with explanatory power does not necessarily prove anything.
That's correct. There are many different ways of explaining a particular phenomena. Let's take, for instance, a stage magician, a very skilled stage magician. What could the stage magician do? Well, absolutely anything, let's say. And therefore, that stage magician could therefore demonstrate that absolutely anything was as a result of stage magic. Alright, so you getting a job, your car working, your mechanic apparently fixing your car. So essentially, the explanatory power of a stage magician invalidates the claim that your mechanic has fixed your car. So something which has an explanatory power does not necessarily prove objectively that something is real or factual. And to suggest that something which has some explanatory power is the answer, and I mean the answer, is a logical fallacy. It's incorrect, it's wrong. It is jumping to conclusions, it is unscientific, it is irrational, completely irrational, and just as irrational as being superstitious, and assuming that if you put a lucky stone in your pocket, that's the thing that got you the job that you were interviewed for on Tuesday. But in fact, it wasn't the stone, it was the fact that all of your qualifications were right, your behaviour was right during the interview, you got the right previous work experience, and so on and so forth. It wasn't the fact you had that stone in your pocket. You couldn't take someone straight off the street who hasn't washed for the past 20 months and put them through the same interview process with that same lucky stone in their pockets and they would get the job now, would they? No, of course not. So something with explanatory power is not proof of what happened. When I took my car, when I had a car, to the mechanics and they fixed it, there was not a stage magician doing some jiggery-pokery with the car. There was something wrong with the car got fixed by the mechanic. Okay? But yet, with your reasoning, you might as well say that the car wasn't actually broken to start off with, it's just that the stage magician had sort of crept into, onto my drive in the dead of the night, had fiddled around with the engine, and then gone away with me completely unaware, so I couldn't start the car the next day, and I therefore had to call the mechanic. And then the mechanic came out and went, terrible bit of work there, looks like, I don't know, the air gasket's gone, the problem with the clutch, and so on and so forth. And then basically what that mechanic then did was take the car up on the trailer, drive it away to the garage, okay, spend a bit of time allowing the stage magician to play around with it and remove all the little things which he'd added and repair all the various connections and so on and so forth to make it seem like the car had been fixed, and then he returned the car back to me in basically what was the condition before the stage magician had a go at the car. That's what you're saying.
Best mass hysteria or sleep paralysis is a hypothesis that is irrationally believed to be fact by people who have bought into a certain called interpretation of reality.
Correct. Because for one to accept a particular point of view, one would have to believe a certain dogma. Okay? So just as, let's provide something which the skeptical audience would approve of. Let's say the experience of seeing a ghost. Okay? A person who believes in ghosts will believe that that was actually the disincarnated body, the astral body of someone who's passed on. Someone who doesn't believe in ghosts will make two possible claims. Namely, that the individual who was making the claim to have seen the ghost was lying, or they were deluded, or there was a trick of the light, and so on and so forth. Or alternatively, that the person who claims to have seen the ghost has some variety of psychiatric abnormality. The fact of the matter is, you don't know. All you've got is a claim. That's all. So, for you to say, no, it's all psychiatric diseases that's caused the experiences of aliens, is thoroughly irrational, and it demonstrates a major intellectual flaw in your reasoning and rationality.
Okay then, well what about schizophrenia?
Irrational.
Is that a hypothesis? What about the case of Emily Mitchell?
What about the case of the stage magician mechanic? Huh? That proves it. Alright, all mechanics are just stage magicians. It proves it. Huh?
So Emily Mitchell, have you looked into that?
Have you looked into the stage magician mechanic? Have you?
What about when I'm on the bus and I see people talking to people who are not there?
What about when I'm watching television and I'm watching a TV show of stage magicians?
Am I seeing something as well? Am I seeing a person not talking to themselves?
You are being completely irrational.
Is that a reality? What about that movie, A Beautiful Mind? Have you seen that movie?
Where is the proof and hard and fast evidence that all of these experiences are explained by your one singular explanation?
You seen the guy who sees things that aren't really there? What about the Book of Revelations? All those symbolic dreams.
So basically, you are not capable of separating symbolism in a religious book, which has a different purpose, from a mental disease, from something which needs more research. This shows you're pretty mentally inept, actually.
Have you read the books from Carl Jung?
Yeah, I don't know whether you know this about me, but I did a lot of psychology at university. I've also done an extra year of natural and neuroscience. Yeah, I think I understand behavioralism, cognitivism, psychodynamic theory. Yes, there's an awful lot of information out there, but one thing I will say is that these are conflicting, competing models of the way the world works. And yes, they are cult interpretations of nature, and they are not hard and fast facts. I don't know whether you're actually aware of what science actually is. I don't know whether you've got any awareness of it at all. Science does not state facts. It suggests what is most likely to be true under some specific circumstances. Change those circumstances, change what could actually be true, or hypothetically true. But of course, you're demonstrating your complete and utter inability to understand what science is. You're thick.
Jung, sorry I can't pronounce his surname, but you know what I'm talking about.
Jung.
Who wrote many scholarly books with very heavy psychology terminology.
Very heavy psychology terminology. God, I'm losing my respect for you.
Regarding dreams.
Regarding dreams, yes, that's still one interpretation, and also one interpretation which is only a cult interpretation anyway. It certainly isn't fact. It was gained through anti-positivistic means, which can be a good thing at times, yes, but it certainly is not a hard and fast fact. Okay? And you're treating these things, which aren't hard and fast facts, as if they are hard and fast facts. You're mental.
Have you read that?
Yes!
Okay, that's a big call. Mass hysteria hypothesis on
Hypothesis.
I'm sorry? Which century are you living in?
Hypothesis. Do you know the meaning of the word? Do you?
Is this some kind of joke? No, seriously.
Yeah. You are some kind of joke. Sorry, but I can't understand the fact that you are someone who is talking about science and doesn't understand even something as basic as the word hypothesis. You are a moron. Oh, God. You people are assuming that everything is already known, which it is not. You people are assuming that because we have bodies of knowledge which point in one particular direction, that is the whole subject, okay? That's everything. Science progresses with time. The quantity of information we've got at the moment is pathetic to the quantity that there is to know. Alright? You've got a lot of learning to do, mate. You're coming from obviously the skeptical camp, which is great. I think people should be skeptical. But you're not being skeptical of your own beliefs. Because this skeptical camp is not full of people who are skeptical. It's full of people who are believers in a particular ideology. Which means you're superstitious.